anyone here has a flask of sweet tea," Bliss suggested. "Some old stagers bring one along just in case they need a boost, or in the event of shock. Get some inside you if so."
"Thank you, sir. I may do."
"Did you bring one with you, boss?" Chandler asked, taking her turn to sign in. "You were with me. Did you see me stop, grab a flask and fill it with tea?" "No, but since you mentioned old stagers—" The young constable forced a smile. Bliss winked at her. "You'll be fine. Get that drink inside you as soon as you can." A balding, squat man of average height had been watching their approach, and he stepped forward to greet them. The man had the most bulbous forehead Bliss had ever seen. He nodded, but did not offer his hand. Detective Inspector Ken Sullivan introduced himself warmly enough, but Bliss noted the wariness in his eyes. The careful scrutiny of a man who had not yet decided whether he wanted the case, but that if he did, was perfectly willing to fight tooth and nail for it, and wanted Bliss to realize that. Bliss understood, though his mind was still elsewhere. He had just got back to the Thorpewood station from court when his DCI had caught up with him and Chandler in the corridor and given them the word on this.
"How did it go?" Edwards asked.
"Pretty much as expected." His curt response was reflective of the anger he had felt earlier. A prisoner, already serving life for killing his pregnant wife with a spade, had bludgeoned his cellmate to death with a clock radio whilst out of his head on the volatile drug known as rice. His defence was that he only started on the drug when the new cellmate introduced it to him, knowing the kind of aggression and paranoia it could induce. The judge was known to be a hand-wringer, and to Bliss's disgust had suggested the sentence would reflect the defence claims. Detective Chief Inspector Edwards had nodded, her smile as false as the capped teeth it displayed. "Tough luck, Inspector. Can't win them all. Anyway, we have a body for you out near Kingscliff." "That's Northants area, not Cambridgeshire." Bliss barely paused, crabbing sideways now in an effort to both meet Edwards' gaze and keep on the move towards his office. Edwards tilted her head and scrunched up her face. "That's debatable, Inspector. The border edges are blurred, apparently. Northants were called in first, but Superintendent Fletcher wants someone out there to act for this county, whilst other people discuss the precise geographical location of the victim." Her words having halted his escape, the DCI took a step closer to hand Bliss a slip of paper on which she had hurriedly scrawled a few details and the approximate location of the crime scene. Bliss hoped it was hurried, at least. If this was her natural writing, then she might well have been better off entering the medical profession. Before he had a chance to argue further, Edward strode away with her usual swagger. Bliss followed her with his eyes. In other circumstances he might have been attracted to the woman, but her personality in no way lived up to the promise of her physical looks. Less than 20 minutes later, and Bliss was now here with his partner, sizing up the opposition and deciding he would rather traipse back to HQ empty-handed. "So, how about we decide this body is within your jurisdiction and call it quits?" he said amiably. Sullivan hesitated for a few seconds, perhaps attempting to figure out what angles were in play here. Bliss decided to help him out. "Between you and me, Ken, even if it's a few yards on our side of the boundary line, I have no objections if you want to shuffle the body in the tent along, so's it becomes a Northants case." The expression of horror and disgust that appeared on the DI's face told Bliss he had miscalculated. Sullivan might not be entirely certain about claiming the case, but he was evidently a stickler for the rules, and what Bliss had just suggested was anathema to him. Looking to cover his slip, Bliss laughed and winked at Sullivan, clapping the man on the arm. "Just kidding, Ken. My dumb attempt at lightening the mood. Apologies there if I shocked you for a moment. So tell me, do we have any word yet as to when there might be a decision on the boundary lines?" Appearing more than a little disconcerted, D.I. Sullivan from the Corby Serious Crimes Unit frowned and shook his head. "Not yet, no. I have someone talking to the county council right this minute. It would appear as if we are in a real grey area."